What's up, guys? It's Roast Beef, back with another New World Guide. Today, I'll be walking you through the Dynasty Shipyard Expedition. Dynasty Shipyard is a level 55 dungeon or expedition with three main bosses that you need to be concerned with. The first is Commander Chen and his maidens, the second is Isabella and her dogs, and the final boss is Empress Zhou and her pedestals. Before I hop into how to beat each one of these bosses, if you want more guides like this, make sure to like and subscribe, and comment if there is a guide you need that I haven't made yet. I also stream on Twitch Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, so feel free to come hang out. But with all that said, let's get into how to beat the first boss, Commander Shen. So, in order to beat Commander Shen, the most agreed upon strat is for the tank to pull Shen away to a corner and just block attacks, while another melee party member tanks one maiden, and the rest of the groups, the other three members, defeat the other maiden. After they down the first one, they all swap to the second maiden, and once it is down, everybody comes and fights Shen. The reason this strat is so widely used is because the tank can pretty much indefinitely block Shen with zero heals because he just doesn't do enough stamina damage, and because fighting all three at once can be rather difficult due to their large AoE attacks and a lot of staggers and knockdowns and such. But with that strategy, this fight should be a piece of cake. On to the second boss, Isabella. She summons a few weak adds and has some decent AoE attacks that are preceded by a voice line. Once you finish fighting her, she summons dogs that can hit very hard in a large AoE when fought together, so the two best strats are to split them up or to fight one at a time. Isabella herself is pretty much a simply a sim- Isabella herself is pretty much a simple tank and spank, as you can block all of her attacks, and DPS just needs to stay out of her range, or out of her AoEs, sorry. And she has two frontal cone attacks and one side attack. The dogs can either split up, like against Commander Shen, or you can cheese them by standing in the corrupted corner and aggroing them from range, which results in only having to fight one dog at a time. A note here is that if you are doing the repeatable quest, make sure to down the second dog outside of the corruption, because if you kill it inside of the corruption, the bag that it's supposed to drop might not. My party members and I had some bugs when we were testing this and doing it ourselves. After the first two bosses are down, the only one left is Empress Zhou. Empress Zhou, I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm butchering the name. Anyways, the Empress fights in three phases. The first phase is just her alone, which gives you some time to get used to her AoE attack patterns, and once she hits about 60%, phase 2 starts. Phase 2 consists of Zhao going invulnerable and summoning two waves of adds. These adds aren't too bad by themselves, but Zhao will also summon pearl pedestals and yell attacks down occasionally. You want to destroy these pedestals ASAP because they serve to echo Zhao's AoE attacks. Roughly 1 minute after Zhao goes invulnerable, which is about the time you'll be finishing off those adds, Zhao will return to the battlefield, which starts phase 3. During this phase, she will fight just like the first phase, except she will occasionally summon pedestals. As far as we know, she can summon up to 4, and when she does an AoE, the pedestals will copy her attack. Because of this, the best strategy seems to be, as soon as that phase starts, have her summon all 4 pedestals on one side of the arena, and then pull her to the other side of the arena and fight her there. This causes most of the pedestal's attacks to be out of range, and for any that are in range, it gives you plenty of time to dodge them. And so for the attacks Zhao and her pedestals will perform, here's a short list. The most dangerous one of her attacks is the dragon arrow she fires. She'll look at a random member of the party, and after charging for a moment, will fire a large arrow in that direction. This arrow travels really slow, but if it hits, it does a lot of damage and can knock you back. And while one arrow isn't bad, when the pedestals are involved, it gets really easy for them to fire 3 at the same person, and that person or someone directly next to them get caught off guard and one shot. Also, if you are in melee or backstabbing her while she's casting the spell, it has a large hitbox on the back end, so it can hit you when you're standing behind her. So just watch out for that because it does a lot of damage. She will also hit in a series of larger concentric rings around herself, so it's like an explosion, almost like a shockwave. The only way to avoid this is to either be out of range or time your dodge right. If you're a ranged character, you shouldn't have too hard of a time dodging it because you can kind of see the progression, how long each wave takes. But in melee range, you have to dodge the first one, so your timing has to be perfect, but you will get it after a couple tries. An important note here is that the pedestals do not perform this attack. I think they just perform the circular attack, which I'll talk about next. So her other attack, or her third attack, is a large circular AoE where a dragon flies around her, or the pink dragon flies around her. The only way to avoid this is to run out of range, because it has an initial hit, and then if you stay in the range of it, it has continuous damage, or multi-hits. And if you dodge the first hit but stay in range, all the rest of those will hit you, and it does a lot of damage. So the only way, you see the pink circle show up around her, run outside of it and try and dodge as you're leaving, just in case you would get hit by the first hit, because that's what does most of the damage. And just as a heads up, this move is copied by pedestals, so if you happen to be standing beside a pedestal, watch out for this. Because you can get knocked from the pedestal into hers or vice versa if you don't dodge it properly. Um, and the last attack she does is a Dragon Breath AoE attack, which hits in front of her in a cone. Um, when she gets ready to cast it, it'll show a pink cone, and you just need to get out of that cone before the stack hits. This move is going to be copied by the pedestals, but an important note here is if you time the dodge properly, I think you can dodge all of the damage in this attack because it's just a single blast. Blasts once, and if you just dodge during that time frame, it doesn't hit you and you can stay in the range. I think. But anyways, with all these tips, you should be able to cruise through the Dynasty Shipyard. So thank you for watching. Please, please, please like and sub if you enjoyed. And as always, keep it beefy, boys. I'll catch you in the next video.
Hello there.